a very fun time broadcasting. I won't say you. I don't think you were on with me. It was me and Camel had a fun time broadcasting a series where one team opted to go for the straight up rush in towards sites, and the secondary team opted for a default. And for a map like Ascent, where good teams go to die and every team should theoretically know what they're doing, defaults are kind of a must. And we can see that seemingly coming out here for the Quartz Hill Royals side. 4 players in through B lobby, 1 teasing in through A lobby as well, but needing a bit of a stopgap with 2 players, maybe just 1, really keeping them at bay to go for that ult war.
Here it is, already. It goes. It's that tailwind on the side, looking into market, but the door comes down just in time and right through the smoke. Actually, I think Pevin was able to see just enough of Take Notes' head to get that wall bang. Alex and T all the way back inside of Boathouse waiting for an opportunity, but opportunity has been taken away from them. Boathouse has been cleared, but Quartz Hill, in their attempt to get onto B site, suffered a lot of casualties in making that happen. The spike goes down, but the retake is going to be intense here for Quartz Hill, or for MMHS.
They do have a man advantage. It's a 4v2, and theoretically the number count should greatly assist them here for the dismantling of the 2 players in the back of Boathouse. And there it is, Xexi only finding 1 kill before inevitably falling alongside Daked. It will be 3 players remaining for MMHS, which is a big non-factor when it comes to the pistol round. But a great pop flash in over the top there of Boat, which just created a wonderful amount of space on site to guarantee the last 2 players that were on for the post plant were stuck back in Boathouse.
Ooh. Alex, okay. Not wasting any time. He's got the Ares already. Rest of the team looking towards Spectres. A pretty standard buy. Spectre full shield. Founding Father wanted to go a little light here. Respectable choices all around on the side of Quartz Hill. And keep an eye on what Alex is going to be able to get away with on that Ares. But the way that leanings towards here for Quartz Hill is going to be an A-side push.
4 players currently stacked up. Once again, it seems like Quartz Hill opting to go for a 4-1 split. Not a de facto default, but something that still is somewhat standard for a lot of teams in the collegiate and the high school scene. Maybe a little bit less so when it comes to the semi-pro and amateur. A quick and hasty retreat, though, is made as Quartz Hill, not liking what was sent off against them. MMHS have, theoretically, the advantage when it comes to weapons as well as utility. Having gotten their victory in round 1, they're still lapsing off of that high, and they're doing a great job of playing very passive, except for Marcus, who stepped all the way in towards Puppy. Maybe the first person to meet someone, but it's Founding Father to re-swing over towards Market instead.
Marcus hiding out inside of Kobe. Could only get the 1 before the headshot comes in from Itne. And Quartz Hill, even without the gun advantage, only pistols are getting away with actual murder. But we're going to see how much further that can go. Komi Bomi comes out of the smokes towards Market, but wasn't looking in the right direction. Just wanted to go straight in towards there. Here comes the Molly in to try and flush them out of corner. A Blanc with a weapon upgrade was able to take down Devin and give Quartz Hill their first round win. Now it's a tie 1-1.
Breaking the Valorant mold of a 2-0 start. Mira Mesa High School are going to be none too happy with the result by the end of that round. Devin was able to gather a little bit of leeway towards the latter half, but it just felt like the defense was not truly there. Maybe a bit of an overextension in through Market. Didn't feel like Marcus gave... maybe it felt like Marcus gave up too much control when it came towards Courtyard, despite having that gun advantage in playing within Puppy. If they had stayed at door, they would have had more information and more chances to force the line of sight there for Quartz Hit Royal back the other way. Rush drawn out here from Comey, and it does find 1 kill onto Daked. Hastily made retreat, trying to be attempted for the last remaining player of Take Notes, but unfortunately, their life taken instead.
Incredibly aggressive right there. Marcus wanted to hang out inside of the corner, thought they were safe, but a shock dart is going to put that dreams right over into bed. Mira Mesa lost that round, but Komi Bomi decided, all right, I need to go ahead, drop a quick 4K with a pistols to start things off, and then pick up a Vandal and go from there. Highly aggressive. Didn't give Quartz Hill a second to think here, Infernosis.
Now we're heading into round 4, and there really has been no standardization here in the game. It's been a rough time for both sides to truly decide when is the proper round for us to engage. Quartz Hill are stepping into this round, round 4, with only 3 rifles and 2 players with sheriffs. And while yes, their 2 top frags are somewhat close to the ultimates, the only team with an ultimate actually on lock and ready to be popped is that Mira Mesa High School side. The Blade Storm for Comey unfortunately seems like they've been suppressed by the 0 point sent out by Quartz Hill Royal, but they'll bide their time till then. They even have their dash ready to escape should the pressure start to come up. but we're seeing another wonderful T-spot set up by Quartz Hill, finally splitting away from a 4-1. 2 coming through A main and 3 through tree where they're going to cut off the angle.
Beautifully well done. Devin having the fight of their lifetime over towards tree, but through the wall. This is too much. Comey, how are you getting away with shots like that? Unbelievable. Quartz Hill all down to their last man, and Blanc no longer a part of this equation anymore. MMHS, they are setting forth a precedence here in this Ascent map.
Near Mesa High School locking down 3 players right at the Arches side of A, meaning anyone were to swing, they'd have to deal with Devin from Tree Defense, and they would have to deal with Comey and Marcus locking down the Arches in that A main entrance. A beautiful hold defensively, and that operator has found already too many targets if you're a Quartz Hill Royal fan. Comey is sitting 8-1. Operator by round 4, now bringing it even further here into round 5. And while yes, the rest of the team necessarily hasn't stepped up as much as you need to or would want to see, when one player is going off, let them eat. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Let them gorge themselves on the competition. And now maybe it's Marcus's turn.
No
Catching the Owl Drone player out. They'll go for the melee. An offensive amount of damage forward. And 3K on top of it. It's Marcus to dismantle all of Quartz Hill Royal.
That is just disgusting what happened there in Infernosis. I can't even begin to describe in words that they should not have been able to get away with that. Perfectly hiding inside of the Astra smoke. All that's left again, 1 member for Quartz Hill, and Mira Mesa knows exactly where they are, except for maybe Comey a little bit, but the information has been given. Itane needs to get out, a lot of damage coming their way, trying to make it through the smoke, but hit with the suppress, can't TP, has to do it the old-fashioned way with their own 2 legs. They make it through, they make it to the other side, and they're still alive, they can still fight this out. More importantly, they get rid of Comey, who had the operator. But really, how much can you expect from one player by themselves in a 4v1 situation? MMHS are not going to try and push this topic any more than it needs to, and Itane, with only 26 HP now, is going to be hunted. 1 operator shot goes forth, but Marcus, with a 4K of their own, Mira Mesa is firing on all cylinders.
I can feel the producers salivating in the background. Here it is, slow-mo galore for the knife. Saw it last game, saw it last week. It is their speciality for the replay. And a great round, like you said, for Mira Mesa High School, who have dismantled Marcus more specifically. A 4K in the last round, and you'd expect Marcus to play quite passive. I highlighted that maybe they were one of the issues we saw that cost them that push through for Quartz Hill Royal through Courtyard, because they played within Puppy instead of through that tree door frame. Taking matters into their own hands, though, they changed the pace of the game, and now Comey looks to maybe do the exact same thing. And if the rotate should be made backwards for Quartz Hill Royal, they'll fall victim to the operator, but it's a 5-man rush towards site, but they've lost Dakes, and they may just lose their jet as well.
Ooh, Founding Father couldn't see anything. Couldn't see Zexy coming right at them with the stinger. Alex still in Boathouse. Has to weather the Blade Storm, but they come through it on the other side. Perfectly fine. Zexy. Only 2 remaining members. 2 for 2 each team. Mark is hiding out inside of Market, but they still get 1 kill. Now it's Alex versus Zexy. They need to go and pick up the spike. It's all on the other side of this. Hopefully the gamble is going to pay off, but will it? Oh, I don't even think they just saw that there. The knife hit in an awkward position. Alex is still safe to walk through. The spike gets picked up. Alex makes a swing. And the headshot too to go along with it. 10 HP to their name. But Mira Mesa now 5 to Quartz Hill's 1.
Utility was on point. Playstyle was on point, but the aim just wasn't. 0 points, the left side of Switch, locking down that no one is coming across walkway and nobody's sitting on box. Meaning, the only angle at which Mira Mesa High School could theoretically lock down that spike is from stairwell. They note that. Zexy tries to move in and pivot towards to go for it. But like I said, the utility and playstyle is there. Just seems like the hand couldn't follow suit when the rifle was placed within it. Alex, the only player now to lock down this B site directly. Looks like another huge engagement to come out for Quartz Hill Royal, and they lose 2 players instantly. Dake finally finding a frag back, but it may already be too little too late.
It may be. Hopefully, Spike is going to be planted. Dake goes in there. Devin still up in market, looking for an opportunity. Zexy throws out the 0-point knife. Finds, I believe, 3 with that, or at the very least 2. Another quick molly inside of that corner to make sure it's clear. And Comey's Operator shots are as clean as they can be. Sexy all by themselves. Knew they were about to be hit with a flank. Tried their best. Tried to do whatever they can. But once again, these 1v4s are too much for Quartz to handle. Mira Mesa gets the defuse and are looking like they are wanting to continue this win streak of theirs in the quarterfinals.
It just feels like Quartz Royal are engaging without much utility behind it. Your initiators are there to dump util on the side. Think of it like a crypto stock. Pump and dump. Get rid of it as soon as you have it. Find something that will force the Mira Mesa High School side away from their initial lines of sight. Alex should not be given a free kill right off the bat, and Founding Fathers and Market should not have the same exact scenario to work with. Smokes are in play. You have an Omen. You can place those early. And while there's a little bit less ease of use in comparison to the Astra, you also have a Paranoia. You have an effective blind, technically a short sight, but you have the util there that can cut off walkway without needing to smoke it for your team, and you can smoke off market because you don't want that angle to be held for the next 20 seconds.
And they know exactly where Aitne is. Getting a read on that. Now it's time to look towards Cubby. See if anyone's coming in through tiles, but for the moment, it seems like the smokes are going to deter Marcus for now, waiting to get their own Astra smokes up before making their push back in towards a very similar position we've seen them in. However, Quartz decides that mid is not the play that they want to go for. Rather, let's take our chances and make this B-side execution happen, but just got to make sure they don't fall to Alex this time.
The rush eventually will be broiled up here for Quartz Royal. Stepping away, 4 players ready to push towards site. They'll lose Digged, though, early to the hands of Devin. While they do have a sight line towards Alex, would require a wonderful martial shot from Take Notes to get the job done, and they'll just barely have the time to connect. Retake is possible with 2 players in B main. Marcus may get caught off guard, shockingly still survives, but it's enough of a distraction to allow the swing in from the actual side of B. Leaving a 2v1 now on site here for the retake. Blanc finds a huge frack onto Founding Father 69, leaving just Marcus and Blanc in a doppelganger 1v1. Marcus having already taken too much damage, it's easy pickings for Blanc. A 3k to the round, and Quartz Royal will stop the hemorrhaging. The round count stopping to favor MMHS. They'll at least climb up to 2.
It was really clean, I think, from Quartz Hill in a round that they were down pretty badly as well. The adjustments that this team is able to make and realizing that B-site has been Alex's sort of favorite area time and time again, trying to figure out their hiding spots. Once you get rid of Alex, then the B-site becomes clear relatively quickly. And you can see that Mira Mesa is making that adjustment. Send Alex over to A and mix things up a little bit here.
Komi's going to go for the aggressive angle. No operator in hand this time around here, though, Sam. Could be a bit dangerous. They can connect that first shot, and they'll do so despite being flashed. Zexy's now taken off the board. Take Notes not far behind, and Komi will re-swing in a fight now with Dick, who's already found 2 targets of their own, but Marcus there on the follow-up. Still a 2v1. Aitne doing everything they can, but the shrouded step back to the high ground only opens the line of sight for Alex, and it'll be an easy prey to latch onto as Mira Mesa High School climb to 7.
7-2. Look at that. You can see it in the replay right here. Komi, even through a flashbang, still popping heads. Gotta give it to Dake, though, to be able to walk away with a double kill. This is gonna be a tough situation, but the way that Mira Mesa spreads themselves out, taking advantage of every single angle that they can, it's beautiful, and just waiting for the right moment to execute is what this team is so good at.
It feels a very calculated response to a lot of the positions that are being held by the attacking side of Quartz Royal. And while there is a bit of a dangerous level of aggression for, Mira Mesa High School, it's warranted when you can have a player like Komi spray straight through an astral smoke and still find a target as if it was as easy as counting to 3. And there's still the possibility of getting that 3K on board, but Alex is starting to steal some of their thunder, finding a nice pick once again, leaving Quartz Royal with only 3 players remaining at all. Not even a combined HP of 100. And there goes the Russian for Komi. The 3K has been found, and it is guaranteed once again for Mira Mesa High School.
Yeah, Mira Mesa at this point, Infernos, is they're just aggressive. Press W key and start clicking heads. That's really the game that they want to play, and it's a game that they're playing so perfectly.
Mira Mesa High School is the 14th seed. We head into this with the preconception that a 14th seed team that had lost to Quartz Royal in the main season more likely than not would have found themselves on the downturn, maybe downtrodden in terms of their mental. And instead, nothing but ruthless aggression. Maybe there was an injury at the beginning of the season. Maybe it's one of those moments where when playoffs hits, all of a sudden Tom Brady comes off the bench and you've got yourself a ridiculously standard lineup. I think Comey being the player to do so. It's been a miraculous performance for Mira Mesa High School, and it looks like it's only doomed to continue. First blood falls to them, but the success is short-lived.
It's unbelievable from this team, though, what MMHS is able to do, even with all the cards stacked up against them, right? Where we're thinking to ourselves, 14th seed, this should be an easy, right, 12, 13-0. But no. This is going into a direction that I don't think Quartz Hill was quite expecting for themselves, but it looks like they've been able to find a good way to entry onto B site once more, where they've had most of their success, a lot of their success. This is a team that heavily favors this B site attack. They've got the spike planted. They still have to watch out for Comey, and this operator is going to be the lockdown expended by Quartz Hill to try and save things out here, but Marcus is going to be the one to actually go in and try and find it out, but in their attempt to jump onto site, right into the waiting bullets, so take notes. Now all that's left is Devin in a 1v3. The tables have been turned against them here. Hit the pop flash, one head goes down, but spread out. Quartz Hill had the strategy. They knew what was coming, and they're able to find their third round win. Now we go into the last round before the half. Before the switch, that is, Infernosis, and I mean, for Mira Mesa, things are looking really good.
See that POV there for Marcus? Just moments before they died, and when it switched back over to Devin afterwards. Did you note that the lockdown's aura effect visible through the floor, through the wall, and on the ground itself? And what does Comey bring pretty much every round that it's available to be had? An operator. What does an operator excel at? Wall banging and plethora of damage on top. Just seems like maybe a lack of understanding as to the fact they could have destroyed the lockdown fairly quickly. A couple shots through that wall maybe would have forced Quartz Hill Royal to swing out to take down Comey if they were going for that. And instead, they just tried to trickle in one by one, and it left those players isolated and inevitably at the mercy of Quartz Hill Royal, who has been pretty good when it comes to those confrontations where they have a numerical advantage, except for here. No command pop, TBNO'd. They can't get out of tree here, Sam, and it is a tough fight for them.
It really is a tough fight. This has just become a murder ground. They can't even do anything. Zexi's just going to have to go ahead and take the L. Get down. Lightning needs to get on the side, but needs to be taken away because Comey needs to get some shots with that operator. And boy, have they. This half going big time in favor of Mira Mesa, the 9-3, but Vernosis, 9-3. It's a curse for a reason, am I right?
For a cent, though? For a cent? Icebox, I'd give it to you. Pearl, maybe Lotus as well. Fracture, But a cent? It's where good teams go to die. Everyone has a mutual understanding of this map. It's rare to see one side be predominated by the other. I do like to say 3 is the minimum you need to work with going into a second half, but it just felt like Quartz Hill Royal didn't find a true answer to Mira Mesa. And will that change when they move to the attack? It's hard to say. But Mira Mesa get to determine and they get to choose where they push from and with what numbers, which is where they thrived on retakes, where Quartz Hill Royal failed 5 times out of 7 to defend their post play. Just seems like it's going to be dominated by MMHS if it continues at this rate.
Things are looking pretty good, though, at the very least. Them being able to get on the side, Founding Father finds Zexy. Wanted to use that 0-point knife, is going to say, nah, not today. And where things are going big time in favor of Quartz Hill, Baked has been able to even things out once more. MMHS,
look at the hold,
does hit the spike plant from Marcus, but Founding Father, they were waiting. They were very patient, but taking some notes and realizing that, okay, we got to clear our corners because nowhere can be safe in these moments, and a very good thing that they did that.
Quartz Hill Royal kind of at the state of the play where they're, hey, we realized 2 weren't nearby, but we know there was a 3rd. Did they retreat early, or are they just waiting?
Can't use that yet.
They call it out correctly. Dake's going to place the turret for the flank watch. That's where Marcus is going to swing from. Unfortunately, has to meet a turret. Alex kind of caught out there once that smoke dissipated. And it will take little chances for Quartz to roll to close out Marcus up on rafters. A defuse doomed to go through, and the first pistol round of the second half will in fact fall to the defense of Quartz Royal on a defusal. But that throws back to the first half. Do we see a 1-1-1 all over again? Or do we finally see something standard in Valorant and see a 2-0 start for Quartz Royal?
Something standard in Valorant, that would be
an oxymoron for this.
Yeah, I know, right? It would be interesting to see if Quartz Hill is going to be able to step up and make that actually happen. And things are looking pretty good to get into that direction, right? We have Blanc using that Ares. Typical strategy here for Sovas to be able to use that. Take notes. Hiding out towards tree. Once you use this judge in case anyone walks inside of there, but the 0-point knife is going to find them out. Walking in through mid, the alarm bot has given out the information for Date, whose headshots are not a headshot, but just a straight up kill. Blanc, though, double kill with the Ares. There's the headshot that I was talking about. Now it's just a 4v2, and Marcus is trying to decide, do I really want to go on to B site? Yeah, okay, maybe.
I feel like they're playing for once. They're trying to isolate people so that it is an even one-on-one fight, but nothing's even in this round. You head into this round with no weapons, nothing but sheriffs to your hand, and there are rifles and SMGs in the pockets of Quartz Royal. You needed to play a numbers game, and you needed that advantage early, and you just couldn't get a full grip on it. Because of that, you're trapped. 0 point could have been shot and removed. Maybe Ox didn't trust their aim to do so. No matter what, intel is there. It was a little bit short-lived, though. Or maybe Alex may be the player short-lived. The rest of the teammates' corpse is still lying fresh on the floor here outside Pizza.
30 seconds left.
And Alex, though spotting the player, take notes. There's another one not far behind it. A flank bring up in Courtyard on top of it. Alex, your time is short. It's doomed to fall to Blanc. They wanted to feed the beast a 4K in round 2. They're almost about to get the ultimate already.
Well, we've got a standard Valorant here, Infernosis.
Finally.
It all started off with Dake getting this kill. And then Blanc realizing that, all right, it's time to walk up through market. The alarm bot gave us the information. They come away with a 4K, and now, Mira, Mesa, get to make some buys. Not full buys, though, if you can look along the scoreboard here. And Quartz Hill has an opportunity to take this bonus round into their own hands.
Feels like maybe Mira Mesa High School opted for a bit too much util in the expenditure of 5 sheriffs across the board. Maybe a bit too costly for a round that you just didn't play, indicative that you wanted to win it. And they're going to pay the price heading into the third round of the second half. Huge tailwind in towards Switch. Comey will flip it. Market will be sequestered for now. Blanc, though, playing on Walkway, does deal with Devin, but Comey on Steros finds the refrag in turn. That evens for a 4-on-4, where theoretically the guns will be split down the middle in terms of advantage. And Quartz Hill have to retake this B site.
Oh, right through the smokes. Founding Father knew exactly where they're going to be coming from. The shots aren't just quite there for Dake. Tried their best, but Mira Mesa finally finding their first round win. And their attacking side and denying the bonus for Quartz Hill. But, you know, it's something that we got to think about when it comes to what Quartz Hill has been capable of. They may have lost that, but let's see how things are going to look once you get rifles in their hands, once you get the big guns.
You kind of take that loss on the chin here, Sam. You're saying, hey, third round of the half, we are working with weaker weapons. Technically speaking, the losing side of the first two, which in this case is Mira Mesa High School, should be rocking full rifles on their side, with at least most of them having full armor. Was not the case. But you play as if it is. And you expect to drop the weapons, because it means, heading into this one, you've got proper rifles, proper util, and armor to follow suit alongside it. And with a Hunter's Fury that got charged so quickly, you're able to get a big lick of damage off towards 2 for the side of Mira. And unfortunately for them as well, they'll lose 2 in total with a spray down by Zexy for a total of 4-3 to this one man only.
Marcus is left just as confused as we are. Where did my team go? They're all dead. They're all gone. And they're going to be swarmed upon now. If they try to go through A, it's going to have to be through a myriad of bullets. But if you look at their flank, oh, my word. This is not going to be a good day for them. Marcus knows they saw just the tip of the barrel. But the swing comes in. It's a fast swing from Dake. And a flawless round here for Quartz Hill. This is what I was echoing earlier, Infernosis. What happens when they get big guns in their hands? Well, we saw the evidence right in front of us.
Whew. double digits. Is it a chokehold or a checkpoint for Mira Mesa High School? And so far, it has been gatekeeping them, but it's only been 1 round. But it looks like it's about to be 2. Look what they're bringing together for this round. Look at how disjointed their economy is. What are they thinking heading into this round? If maybe it was a Jet Ultimate, a Bladestorm that was on the board, I'd maybe agree with the disjointed buy they're working with, but it's not. It's a very poor performance for the last 2, and on top of it, they have to work with nothing. It just seems like they're handing the round and most of the credits that they could be saving for the next over to Quartz Royal. It would require a miracle, or at least an extremely solid performance, one where you don't try to pull out some constellations out in the open to get the job done, and it's just not working for them.
No, it's not. Ine is just inside of there. It's another flawless here for Quartz Hill. They're really starting to make the comeback happen, and it was that 9-3. Now it's 10-7. But look at that. Founding Father wants to use their constellations right in full view of the doorway. A major mistake on their part, and one that is going to be echoed throughout the rest of this round. That was Mira Mesa's opportunity to take control of the driver's seat once more, but ripped away from them.
Punished. 3 ultimates, though, on the board, so there is still something to work with. Could go for the Cosmic Divide as a distraction. Seems like 3 players in towards B main, and Octopus will be the main objective of choice for them to work with. Homie may just be a distraction. The Tailwind bait as they tossed over 2 smokes, but no one's there. And that swing of intel has put 4 players actively defending A, which means just 1, aka Blanc, stands in the way of the push here on B. Cosmic Divide and the 0 point out. And they know for a fact it's just 1, as they're the only one to be gotten. But unfortunately, they'll still drop 2 important players in the process.
A really good defense from Blanc, who are all by themselves in a really rough situation. Now it's a 2v3. MMHS were still able to get a couple of kills on their own in the attempt, and they're going to be able to get the spike planted. Looking at how much utility they have, the 0 point found a lot of information, but the information did not convert into anything. Des of Mira Mesa. Quartz Royal is going to get the defuse and inching that scoreline ever closer and closer to meeting Mira Mesa.
Feels like the retakes are just favored so heavily for the defense right now. Has the high school scene shifted? Is it now a defensive-centric game? For a team as aggressive as Mira Mesa High School tends to be, you'd expect them to have some level, some modicum of success when it comes to their attacking prowess, but it's been entirely absent. They have not shown up when it comes to the offense. And a much-needed timeout will be called for them. 60 seconds to maybe ice out Quartz Royal and talk things through. They've seen at least 3 different strategies now up to this point, with full rifles brought out for Quartz Royal. Maybe those positionings, the way they retake that B site, will be enough to be told. They know Blanc likes to play within switch to catch 2 off guard. If Mira Mesa High School hadn't lost those 2, it could have been a different story in that last round. But when Blanc's not there, Blanc will hold farther back towards walkway and play for an angle. That means that Mira Mesa High School will need to be quite ready for all of the chances for one player to defend. And think about it. If an Ares or an Odin falls back into Blanc's hands, as you typically do see for a Sova on that B site, it'll be even more dangerous for Mira Mesa High School to even step into B main, let alone work into the site itself.
This timeout, though, here from Mira Mesa. It was like you said, this is a timeout that you got to take. This is a 10-8 scoreline where you went into this half 9-3. Now Quartz Hill has, on their defense, started to do the same thing that Mira Mesa was doing. In a sense, is proving to be kind of a battleground, this very first map. At the very least here, for whichever team does take the loss on this map, there's still another opportunity to come back and actually still be able to win out in this entire series. But man, what a bad feeling this would have to be for Mira Mesa to lose it, and still kind of a bad feeling when you put it into perspective as well. But how close this match is starting to really become, where they had an incredible lead. And take notes, really wanted to go for that ult orb. Wow. Just the last second. No way, Blanc. No way that you do that with a shock dart and get Comey.
The best player by far for Mira Mesa High School as well. In terms of frag prowess, at least. Maybe not so when it comes to util. The Cloudburst setup we saw just last round on A for the bait was quite nice. Fortunately, past that, there wasn't very many pretty pictures to paint for Mira Mesa High School. Now at a man disadvantage here in this round. They're pivoting back through courtyard and looking to say, hey, tree could be an option, but the only thing taking root here is your blood seeping through the dirt, trapped in tree. It's Take Notes doing their best Comey impersonation possible. 3 kills with the operator, Blanc to follow suit within defensive spawn, and a flawless round again for Quartz Hill Royal, who are now 1 round away from tying and reaching double digits against Mira Mesa High School.
Quartz Hill are so phenomenal at figuring out what Mira Mesa is going to do. And Blanc has kind of been sort of the ringer here for Quartz Hill as well. We saw Take Notes getting a lot of kills of their own, but a lot of success that we've been seeing from Quartz Hill is what Blanc has been able to do in getting kills that, like a shock dart in mid on Comey, taking out the big ringer for Mira Mesa, and then realizing where Founding Father is going to come from, taking them out. Now it's being turned back around on its head. Comey getting the initial pick onto Take Notes, getting rid of that operator. A lot of pressure taken off of them, and some big-time breathing room that they desperately need. Dake flashed away back over towards their spawn. It's not going to try and push the issue inside of there, but here comes the Hunter's Fury. Oh, Comey up, drives in the air, manages to dash away, and still gets to hold on to that operator for another fight. But now we see 2 up going through a main, still 3 in towards mid, making their way up onto rafters.
Though Quartz Hill Royal would like to avoid using the ultimates here in this round, knowing they have the gun advantage, having already felt the pressure from the sheriffs that MMHS are bringing to the table, they do have them to work with. Lockdown for a retake, 0 point to join in. We're to be used isolated to keep most of Mira Mesa High School at bay. It's on the board, and while that is successful to a degree, you got to keep those players alive. Blanc will not have that luxury. A sheriff will connect for a kill. Dake trapped within a smoke. And there goes the lockdown, finally being brought on board for Quartz Hill Royal, but Marcus maybe catching them off guard, spraying down 1, but can't find the second. The door switch, though, buys just enough time for Mira Mesa High School to keep Quartz Hill Royal away from that spike for the plant. But a spray through the smoke. The Omen smoke not denying enough space. Kexi and Dake combo for 1 apiece, and they're going to stick it. Stolen by Quartz Hill Royal. They just don't have the guns to spray through. They needed an active hold of sight instead of the passive one they approached.
Quartz Hill is just fantastic. And we got to give it to Dake to end this tree maneuver here from Marcus. They weren't able to quite hit the spray transfer to take out Dake, and them being alive is actually what helped save Zexi's life there, right? If you looked at that through the smoke, they got the first kill and then just stuck the defuse, trusted in their teammate, and the trust was rewarded in Infernosis. And now Quartz Hill tying things up against Mira Mesa. Take Notes. This is going to be dirty if you actually get away with it. They're not even going to care. They're going to try and go for it, but the shot misses. Dash to keep them safe. Now a lockdown here from Mira Mesa to get this B site.
Beautiful play last round for Quartz Hill Royal. The lockdown forced MMHS into the passive defensive site, where their weapons would be weaker on the spray through. Unfortunately, Mira Mesa High School throw a little bit of that back in the face of Quartz Hill Royal. But that lockdown can't reach the back of Boathouse and does give some safety to the player back on site, but Blanc will eventually be felled. But it buys a lot of time, and it makes it so that Mira Mesa High School can't plant effectively yet. And in fact, will be denied of it in its totality, meaning no extra credits, no spoonful of pocket cash, and the only thing they're spoon-fed is a couple 5.56 rounds straight to their head, as Quartz Hill Royal will not only meet, but beat. Now at 11-10 from a 9-3 half, this is an egregious performance from MMHS for this second half. Something has to change, and quick.
It's the 9-3 curse, Infernosis. It's striking again. I knew I should have knocked on wood when I uttered those words, but here we have it again. Take Notes. In mid-cubby, somewhere we haven't seen them very often, in a rare form for them, actually misses the shot. Marcus makes it through with their life and head, more importantly, intact. They're still going to try and push this. They're still going to try and make their way in through cubby. Good idea, though. Maybe take on the operator head on. See if you can get rid of them. Aitne not going to get away with too much inside of tree. MMHS is starting to get a little wise to the efforts there. And this time making very well sure that hell is cleared. And indeed it has been by Comey. Take Notes looking up in heaven, seeing if anyone is going to be bold enough to walk through these Astra smokes. But with the controller taken out from Mira Mesa, that is going to be the last smoke they see for this moment. It has to be something here from Aitne they're going to be hoping for. Another smoke goes out, maybe a paranoia as well, but the 0 point's going to slow things down. And Mira Mesa, this could be their opportunity to finally find it, and that's a good way to start things off with a headshot on to take notes. Get rid of that operator ASAP.
Recon Bolt does go out, finds a lot of intel for the players up on Raptors, but Blanc finds two back-to-back. Unfortunately, it's
No
just
way.
Blanc now in a 1v1. Ace is required of them, swinging around the corner with a classic can't meme hard enough. The free gun with the cheeky right click will fail, and Devin will somehow pull through to give Mira Mesa High School the much-needed breather to tie things up back at 11-11. I have loved what Quartz Royal have been doing here defensively. Have you noticed here, Sam, that the KJ has replaced their utility in a different position nearly every single round? The only thing that has stayed standardized has been that alarm bot in mid. That's why we saw Marcus go for the shock bolt there. But you know what has changed? The turrets and the nano swarms. 2 rounds ago it was a turret in Garden. Last round it was a turret on B. And the nano swarms now replacing that exact position. They are diversifying and making it so that MMHS have no clue what's truly happening every round.
That's the most important thing that you have to do with your utility, especially as KJ. Being able to throw them off of their game, being able to make them think about where they have to go next, what could be a possibility here or there, is so important and pivotal to the success of KJ. Take notes, is still going to try and take these fights. The operator shots just haven't been hitting quite as hard as they once have been, and now here it is, another molly in front of their face, a swarm grenade to get them out of there. Blanc is just going to stand their
Oh
ground.
my goodness.
Standing their ground, firing through the smoke, and somehow, Infernosis, I don't even know how they do it. How do you get a double kill
There's no-
with just very little information like that?
They're just a knower. I think that's the term that most kids these days, I'll say, like to use in their rank stacks. They're just a knower. It feels like Blanc knows things that they shouldn't. And while that most definitely is not the case, you would expect it with a performance like this out of nowhere. Where's Comey been? Mira Mesa High School have in desperate need of that top fragger to step up, and it just feels notably absent in comparison to the performance we saw in the first half. Comey's still alive, could repeat some of those successes and maybe bring themselves back into the limelight. And with Alex holding in mid, here at bottom, just to the opposing side of this archway, this could be the prime proving ground, but is only good for one. Blanc flakes in from Puppy, and that puts us in a 2v4 now for a post plan, and oh, Comey gets caught with their gun down.
Oh my word. Quarterfinals Royal taking us into this beautiful, beautiful match point. Mira Mesa had it all in their hands. Infernosis, it was a possibility, and even if they take the win on Ascent, you've got to imagine that's got to be a blow to the confidence regardless. You had such a dominating lead, 9-3. And then somehow lose it just like this. And it's so strange too, because Mira Mesa on their defending round were so happy to be aggressive, feeling like they were the attackers on Quartz Hill, throwing them off their games. But yes, Quartz Hill, all they needed was just a moment to warm up, to get going. Because once they've gotten going, Infernosis, they haven't stopped, especially Blanc, who's taken the mantle and stepped up so much for this team, where they needed that ringer and has become that for Quartz Hill.
We anticipated that Comey was going to be the only player to, have the chance to break up into 20 kills on this map. And somehow not only has that been turned back on its head, Blanc is close to reaching 30. 27 kills, 3 more than what Comey has been able to bring out here. And it's all off of the amazing resurgency of this Quartz Hill Royal side when it comes to their defensive half. Most collegiate teams in the upper echelon, like Houston a year ago, Northwood, even Davenport this year, struggle on Ascent defense, but that has been entirely absent for both of these teams. Maybe this is truly just the new generation stepping into Valorant, where they can prove themselves early and vie for those scholarships. Or maybe it's just a matter of these teams really prioritizing the defense over the attack. But look at that Hunter's Fury. 3 players already dead! And while they pop the 0, it's not gonna matter. They can't pick them back up safely unless they want to go through this cosmic divide, and they'll do so.
30 seconds
But it's close.
Cover going out.
I'm speechless. Blanc knew exact. Blanc is nowhere. They're looking for it. They're hungry. They're a wolf on a mission. And Quartz Royal, 13-11. The 9-3 curse has.
Absence of a true strategy, and they're just defaulting to an aggressive stance. I'd like to think that they know what they're doing. And with the performance we saw for their, wonderful resurgency in that last game of an Ascent to conclude for the 9-3 curse, like you were highlighting so many times, knock on wood this time around here, though, Sam, like you said, go ahead and do so. Quartz Royal, they have a lot of work cut out for them. Because MMHS was beautiful on their defense. They were a gorgeous team. Comey played out of their mind, but Comey got silenced in that second half, and because of that, they started to fall back. So if that were to continue, and Comey can't step up big, that may be one of the reasons why we see Quartz Hill come out with a win. At least they'll survive for now. It's a trade for trade off the bat, except until Quartz Hill steps out for the woodwork.
Oh, no. Alex just hiding out in garage, having the time of their life, letting the turret do all of the work. Quartz Hill taking a lot of damage, and Alex inside a garage is coming up big. Now for the remaining members of Quartz Hill, as healthy as they can be, but Zexy has to know exactly where Alex is coming from, but you whip out the knife because you thought you had it all under control, but no, you didn't. MMHS, once again, proving that defense really is their home turf. Quartz Hill falling once again.
Starting off the pistol round, this was the same thing that occurred on the first half of Ascent, where then Quartz Hill Royal proceeded to perform something we deemed as unlikely, and then expected to happen in the second half. Everything that we had expected to happen did not come true. It's been a very wild ride of a series, we'll say, up to this point, here, Sam. But remember, know your history or be doomed to repeat it. Quartz Hill Royal found themselves successful in round 2, which did lead to a very rough first 4 rounds for both sides. Because while, yes, you do get a win in round 2, it's a very even vibe for round 3, and it comes into a very dangerous position for teams to work with. And speaking of dangerous, Marcus the Spectre, good for 2, and Comey on the follow-up from short, good for 2 more of their own.
And Marshall, all you need to do is land one body shot. How do you do that, Blanc? You're just gonna crouch and get away with a kill onto Comey. All you had to do was land literally one. That was it. Now Blanc is all by themselves. We know that Blanc is a fantastic player, but with the way that they're being swarmed, really the only direction they have to go is back towards A long, but they're still somehow getting away with another kill. Only 7 HP, 8 rounds left inside of this Spectre. They have to go up against Alex, Founding Father on the other side, expended every last bullet, but still alive to fight through this. They have to go, they have to walk through, they have to get it, but literally all you have to do is sneeze on them and they go down. Founding Father, a little bit more than a sneeze with that Guardian, but still, that was a really good attempt and a really good effort from Blanc.
With how low HP Blanc was as well, it was 3 players actively defending that position inside of lobby. They placed the turret on short, meaning if they had tried to pivot back through short, there would have been a player, big quotation marks, to cut them down because they were down to 7 HP. It would have just killed in 2 hits. That would have been the second turret kill we would have seen in this game on this map alone already, and it was just the first 2 rounds. So, close again to a bit of a meme kill. And not there just yet. Blanc, though, very happy with their performance. Even without the win, look what you did to Mira Mesa High School. They're coming into round 3 where they should have had still SMGs and Marshals, and they're having to force Sheriffs to clap back. And it just is too much money too early for them to engage with, which was the same problem they faced in the second half for their force.
Look at what we're seeing here from Quartz Hill. They do have the rifles in hand, a lot more confidence that you can see emanating from this team to want to make their way in towards back sight, but might be overheating a tad bit. Overheating, take that, I take that back. There's no overheating here in Infernosis. It's only kills, only wins. And finally for Quartz Hill, their first win on the board, denying the bonus round for MMHS. And I gotta say, for Quartz Hill, it was looking clean, but you gotta wonder what's gonna happen now that Mira Mesa is gonna be looking towards that same position where they're gonna be able to make buys of their own. Look at that. Now they're gonna have to meet up towards that. They took a lot of deaths in making that win happen. Marcus can't make a full buy. Comey. Yeah, so this is an interesting moment here for them.
I called it out. They faced that problem the second half of Ascent. They had to force Sheriffs from round 2 after that first loss, and then they stepped into round 3. And though they lost that one, 4 players couldn't buy proper armor. And while since they won, they get extra credits on top, it still hurts them more than it helps. Devin, though, with a wonderful defensive straight, takes down Take Notes and Zexy, follows for 3rd on to date. But off screen, one player for Quartz Hill World finds themselves with a positive frag, but not a best spot to work from. The Rolling Thunder out of nowhere, and I think Mira Mesa High School have cemented themselves here with a victory unless Heights can have something to say about it. You can't miss that coming. And now you're going to pay the price. It's a 1v1. What is going on? A 4K required, but look at the information you can get for yourself and the flashes for yourself to self-initiate.
And Founding Father, I can't even see their health bar anymore. All you have to do is one bullet. Ignae, a body shot. No, but they look away at the wrong second. They're still alive. If I were Ignae, I'd go, they've expended all of their luck right now. Literally every single last piece of it. Now the Seekers from that ultimate orb is going to get them all the information that they need, but they don't have the spike in Vernosis. They still need to go and pick it up. They're hunting down this final player, this Founding Father. Here comes the flashbang. They know that they're hiding out back there towards spawn, but they're running out of time. There is no more left to be found with less than 10 seconds. Just enough to be able to plant the spike and make this happen. But Founding Father, only 10 HP. They're going to be staring down the bullet! And Ignae somehow does it. I don't even begin to understand. They've clutched it out all by themselves. Shouldn't have happened, but it did.
A miracle on Haven. Devin takes a 4K into their own hands, but can't finish the ace. And what does Quartz still do? Not just punishing Devin, but punishing Comey, who should have ended it right there. Quartz here, Royal, and more specifically, Ignae should have taken it. They did. Well deserved. And while there was a bit of a scary moment that I couldn't stop myself from exasperating myself from that peek through garage doors, it forces the hand now for Mira Mesa High School, who are just forcing forward through hay and window with SMGs as best they can. It's a Sheriff and Shorty, though, to find the first 2 picks. Quartz Royal have to find an answer back, and they are at their wits' end. Somehow, someway, Mira Mesa High School have found more kills than not and have trapped Quartz Royal into their own spawn.
MMHS is so perfect at punishing Quartz Hill. That's what we've seen from them so far. Catching them inside of the corner in places where they think they're going to be safe. Now we have the showstopper from Zexy. He's got to hope for another moment. Here, finds their target. And big boom it is. And right into Garage. A headshot to seal the deal. That was still a really messy round for Quartz Hill. One that they win, but took a lot to get there. But with the way that things are playing out for them, honestly, you gotta imagine that they're still feeling good to be able to take this for themselves.
What a player from Zexy. The slow mode as well. It's not a knife kill, but doesn't mean we can't slow it down ever so slightly to just highlight how impressive of a final frag that was. You said that MMHS seemingly have the number for Quartz Hill Royal, but somehow, some way, they're still finding the win. But these wins are coming at a very high cost. Typically, you win with 3 or 4 players remaining. That's 3 or 4 more rifles that don't need to be bought every single round. Quartz Hill Royal haven't had that luxury. They've had to buy 4 or 5 rifles every single time. And now they're going to do the exact same thing into maybe full 5. Ignae, once again, can't clutch up. They only need ace this time, and it's denied. A one-man army behind Gong, and they rung the bell of Quartz Hill Royal, and they'll tie things up 3-3.
Alex. Justin back of B-side. 1, 2. Make that 3. A 4th one. The spray transfer, beautiful. Couldn't find the final kill, but you done the damage. And then some at that point. And look what you've done to the economy of Quartz Hill. The buys that they're going to be forced to make.
The costly endeavors of those last 3-round wins, despite the win, the credits don't really stay there. You're still running pretty much net negative after that 3rd round win. Barely scraping by with purchases. In fact, round 4, you couldn't even afford full armor for every player. Round 5, you barely could. It just doesn't work out that way. Mira Mesa High School have found seemingly an answer, and I think this map is greatly facilitating that playstyle. They can be more aggressive. The space is a lot more open to Descent. And because of that, they can play a lot smarter while also being very aggressive. Paint shell tossed out, though, by Zexy. It does get the kill. And that will force away that Cubby player away from C-Long by now sticking them into the afterlife. But here's where the rest of the team from MMHS may find kills, but it's Comey only good for 1, and the rest falling apart. A 3v1 left and remaining.
All right, it's Marcus all by themselves. And they do what Ignae did earlier in the round. No, they can't, because look at how Quartz Hill played that out. Knew that they were hiding out inside of Garage, realized that everything was cleared. Beautifully well done. And another moment where, down economically speaking, Quartz Hill and MMHS have both proven to us that sometimes you just need a need to win.
You gotta have that drive. It's not all about the cash or what you're bringing to the table. Sometimes it just takes a bit of luck and some skill with what's left in the hand. Quartz Hill Royal in a thrifty round take themselves above and beyond MMHS High School. Can they continue to do so? It's not going to be towards C or B this round. Looks like most of their pressure boiling up inside A lobby. Smoke sent out, Paranoia sent out as well over towards A long to maybe zone away that breach from that ult orb. Unfortunately, they will continue to stick it, and they'll get that Thunder back online here for the remainder of this round and possibly the next as well. I don't think a sniper's on the board for Founding Father, which means that from the shadows here for information behind Radiant Stack could catch them off guard. The stack over the top, the boost pack's good, and Zexy finds the first victim.
Right up on top of there. Beautifully executed. The movement capabilities, the double duelist. Comey is not going to be expecting Itane coming up from behind them just like that. They think it's cleared, but Itane is going to go on the flank for their lifetime. Doesn't really need to make that happen anymore. Here's the lockdown for MMHS to get in there, but the way that it's planted, we're on long. Look what happens. The second that Marcus even tries to go for it, they're still able to get away with one. Itane in the flank. Now it's up to Zexy. Dake's got to make sure that they land the shot. Here's the showstopper. And indeed, the show has been stopped. And the ace for Zexy.
Every round is another round of getting one-upped back to back. Itane with a huge clutch. The next round, the very next round. Somehow, someway, it's a play from behind Gong to close out for nearly an ace. We have had 5 4Ks up to this point, if I recollect. It may just be 4. And somehow, we were always just one step away from the ace. We finally have seen it. It's finally come true. It's about dang time. But this game could not get any closer. Timeout much needed to be called. These teams have to rethink their strategies because everything they brought forward somehow, some way gets thrown back in their face out of nowhere.
There it is. Beautiful. Quartz Hill Royal, even if they were to fall back on this first half, are still in a much better position than they were on Ascent. MMHS can really only look towards making a 7-5 half happen now. And for Quartz Hill, those are really good odds for this team. But the way that things are looking like, MMHS, that timeout, very necessary. Needs to talk about what they want to do economically. It's looking like sheriffs across the board light shields. Meanwhile, Quartz Hill, and especially Zexy, is whistling a happy tune to what just happened in that last round.
Whistling and tapping their toes. Plenty happy as could be. Quartz Hill Royal, they know they're more likely not going to be at a gun advantage. MMHS just only finding a few rounds strung barely together means that they just don't have the eco to work with since they've been forcing every round. Barely surviving the onslaught in short. Quartz Hill Royal are not going to play for B or A. I can't imagine they'll stick this if they don't have the pressure to defend. They decide to do so, but look what MMHS were bringing in from short. Thankfully, Blanc is there. 2 kills on site. Dake to follow through, and Quartz Hill Royal still finding flawlesses. Not just on Ascent, but even more now on Haven.
That's insane with the way that Quartz Hill was playing. They thought they were going to catch MMHS off by walking in towards through their spawn, but instead 3 of MMHS were walking up towards flank, and the turret actually called them out, but they didn't seem to really care too much. Quartz Hill just wanted to press forward. They thought it was going to be at least 1 at most, and you saw that Itane almost took a shot in the back of the head, but was able to make their way through sewers alive. But still, with the way that things were looking, it was on the other side. It looked like they were about to make their way in towards through C, but yeah, they stuck it. They held firm on A because they knew they had the gun advantage, and it worked out perfectly for them. And now we might be seeing something similar from them as they look towards A again, but instead, Bonk peering towards B with that spike.
I think the danger, the ever-present threat of Comey, still on that jet, and, well, definitely iced in comparison to their first half performance on Ascent. You don't want to let them heat back up. An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. That outside force was halftime on Ascent. Don't get the ball rolling if you're Quartz Hill Royal. They find first blood here. They're going to start to roll their way down short, and it works wonders First blood to them, make it a second as Comey falls off the board, and this A site is theirs for the taking. But let's keep in mind, it's the most retakeable objective in all of Valorant, and they've got the Rolling Thunder, but it's a huge play from Take Notes.
No way! They adjusted their position slightly. Founding Father thought they were in one place, but no. Literally just shuffled their little feet across a couple steps to the left and completely put Founding Father in a loop and into the ground. HSEL Royal starting to run away with this, and you can see it right here. Thought it was safe. Rolling Thunder thought their entries were going to be clean, but Infernosis, it's the basics of Valorant sometimes, right? You just got to make sure to check your corners.
Man, it seems like everything gets thrown back in the face of every player. You get your comeuppance, right? You find yourself falling victim to karmic justice, it seems like, in most of these rounds. And unfortunately, Mira Mesa High School in their last life might not have been the kindest of people, because it feels like they're reaching their wits' end and haven't found an answer to the HSEL Royal side. Dexy,
they're off the game.
Oh, man, it's just check your corners, folks. Check your corners. A third after the fact from Take Notes. Marcus is the only player with a chance to find a pick up there from Link, and they instead will be linked up with a couple shots. With just Alex left remaining, at least deny the flawless. That's it.
At least.
8-3.
In the half.
Here we are, final round. HSEL, 3 ultimates in the pocket to work with. Here's the replay, though. Mira Mesa, Infernosis, they're off their game. They've been shaken to their core, I think, on their own map choice. And now these are some buys that they have to make, right? You got to go in with the Vandals. And with the way that things have been playing, honestly, one-line shields is not the worst idea in the world. HSEL has been hitting the headshots like crazy. And Comey needs to come up big with this operator like we saw them on Ascent.
I think Ascent just came into, like I called it, a place where good teams go to die. In HSEL Royal, we're facing that epidemic early on that map. I think it's less the fact that a 9-3 curse hits and it plagues a team, but more so that HSEL Royal just were caught off guard by the playstyle of MMHS, and it required a halftime switch to shake things back up their way. And I think this is truly what we're seeing, the true dominance and prowess of this HSEL Royal side. And even 4-on-4 until Take Notes and Dake can get their hands on some competition. The last 2 remaining players for Mira Mesa High School lying within Link towards C. 1 player rotating through window and garage, but they're cut off from block, and it leaves just Alex left alone. 3 kills in the round, but they're spotted. Lockdown goes down. 2 players they'll still have to contend with. They just don't have the space nor the time to truly work with. They'll have to retreat away because there's no way they can get to that lockdown sound.
There it is. Lockdown of their own, but that's not going to matter to HSEL because they have all of the site. It's so far back, they don't need to worry about it. The Swarm Grenade is going to stall things out here for Alex, but one way is good enough to be able to see their feet, and Blanc's aim, crisp as ever. HSEL now putting the pressure back onto MMHS, turning the tables onto them, taking the first half 9-3.
Comey exited the first half of Ascent with like 15, 17 kills. They have 5 now heading into the second half of Haven. When I say they didn't let the ball get rolling, I mean it. Resident Gatekeep, HSEL Royal, transitioning now over to the defense after a beautiful first half performance on their attack going 9-3. Can they repeat? Can they close out here early? I can only assume it to be the case because these 2 teams, attacking seemed to be their weakness just last map. And it's been everything but for HSEL Royal this time.
It's basically, it's the same story that we had on Ascent, right? We thought one team was going to do really well here. And then it's going to be the same score line. Take Notes really wanted to go aggressive in that play to try and clear out mid, but Alex was waiting for them. Another moment here, another kill for Devin, but that's all they're going to find. Things have been evened out once more. Inside of window, though, Dake couldn't get anything more than that. Now it's all up to Zexy by themselves. Spike has been planted, but they're going to make their way in through window, right to the waiting bullets, but how do they get away with 2 kills? Unbelievable plays from Zexy. Now it's the 1v1. The pressure is on them because Spike has been planted. They need to find Fighting Father, and they did it. A headshot to close things out. And a round 1 for them. A pistol. Make that another one. Both of these teams, 2-2 on their pistol rounds.
HSEL Royal has not only had more flawlesses, but their 4Ks and everything past that have just been more impactful against MMHS. The scoreline was already predominantly in favor of Quartz Royal when we saw that play from behind Gong come out for MMHS. By then, the damage was done. Alex did everything they could, and they surely did help out in that round, but it only gave them 3 rounds in the first half, and that was in round 6, where past that, your team didn't apply themselves correctly, and Quartz Royal had a flawless remainder of that half. Now you're giving away a pistol round when it should have gone your way. Zexy fights a 2v1 in window and still wins, and then one-shots the remainder. It's just being built different for Quartz Royal, and I don't imagine that'll change, but look at what MMHS are doing in mid. They are really confused on this B side, and they try to get spiked, but they can't do it just yet. They'll do it now. Maybe not. I don't know what the heck Devin's doing.
We're doing something here. Okay, spike finally does get planted. The dog found a little bit of information. Block knows that someone's hiding up there, but the aim comes right on in. Saw Devin, a free, easy target for them. Comey takes a little bit of damage, a smidge of it. Zexy somehow making away with a kill of their own. Now it's the 1v1 once more, but a Bulldog versus the Spectre. Nate turns around at just the wrong second, blinded by their own flash. Up on the updraft, Comey wants to get up there, see if they can find them, but they're playing a dance around this generator. Literally just ring around the rosy against each other. Flashbang goes back over there. Ike has an idea of where they are. Has to whip out the Bulldog in time. But Comey had to reload. A heartbreaking moment, and now Quartz Hill. Another defuse, another round 1.
The rounds have been more impactful for Quartz Royal. It feels like there's a lack of composure for MMHS. It just feels like they haven't been as driven of a team. When it comes up to the scenarios where they're forced to clutch, they fall short. They just don't seem to have that clutch gene. And it's the total opposite story for Quartz Royal. I would trust my life to defuse a bomb to 3 out of the 5 at minimum of that Quartz Royal side. Zexy, I'd let you guess with your eyes closed to snip that wire. They have that clutch factor, and they have been riding that since then. Great play, though, out. Zexy gets one with a showstopper. Even a Sheriff shot after the fact for a kill. That's a 2v1 trade after they'll fall. And MMHS coming into this round with basically nothing in the first place. They'll have to rely on flanks. And they'll even the odds after that pick by Founding Father.
Founding Father wanted to play patiently with that. Instead of planting the spike, using the opportunity to actually go for that flank, rewards them with that kill. But the judge has put down its judgment and finds Founding Father to be guilty. Alex and Tease all by themselves. Has to throw forth a swarm grenade. Walking through, take notes. Wanted to go for that fight, but Alex was ready for them. They're gonna have to make it happen. Only 3 HP. That's it. That's all they have. The tank. No more bullets for that Vandal. And the spike defuse happens. Alex falls. And Quartz Royal on match point.
The second time we've seen MMHS be unable to stop the defuse from Quartz Royal. We saw it in round 2 of the second half on Ascent. We see it here repeating. A 1v2. I think it was a 1v3 technically on Ascent. But you just play the denial with sightline and limit the weapons in hand. Yes, the rifle was available, but look at the live pings that are being made by the rest of the team for MMHS to try to assist them. They weren't placed correctly. They were not placed just to the left, slightly more west. And if it was there, it would have denied. But it's just incapable. Quartz still looking to close things out. Take notes with first blood. Marcus off the board. You lose that early. It's a rough go about it. It's a tough pill to swallow. And Comey will die after just 1 kill.
Range of that judge is just not working out in their favor. This Cosmic Divide is doing a lot to help MMHS get onto the site. Founding Father is going to attempt to take that fight in heaven, but lose it to Zexy. Thankfully, the trade was there, but now it's all on the efforts of Devin. With the fall of Devin, that marks the fall of MMHS. Quartz Royal going to take this win here in the quarterfinals.
I don't think you could ask for a more rough go about it. Just as a whole factor for a map. An insanely entertaining map. One of the most entertaining maps I've had the pleasure to cast. And I got to watch T1 versus TSM, right? I got to cast that game. And this was more enjoyable of a series, purely for the second map by itself. I don't understand how you can go from a close matchup like Ascent to bringing out banger after banger of a round, 4Ks and aces galore. And if it wasn't a 4K or an ace, it was flawless. Quartz Hill Royal have set themselves a precedent that will be a tough one to follow as they move on here past this matchup.
You have to imagine that for Quartz Hill, when things were looking down on Ascent, 9-3 in Pronosis was what that team was looking at. Lesser teams would have crumbled under that kind of pressure, but no, Quartz Hill remembered that this was a team that took on the 3rd seed, won. And so they took that confidence forward and purchased themselves a win on Ascent, and then that momentum carried on into Haven, where we thought MMHS was starting to get some signs of life, but turns out it was just a little blip. That's all it was, an error, perhaps, for MMHS. Quartz Hill didn't want to make that error turn into anything more than what it was, and we see the results happening here time and time again. And so, yeah, like I said, Quartz Hill in these West quarterfinals are going to be taking that win. Unfortunately, here for MMHS, that is going to be the end of the road, but I think a really good showing from them, right? The 14th seed being able to stand up to the 6th seed like this, give them a little bit of a run for their money, make them think about what's happening here, and maybe even expose some weaknesses and flaws that we saw for Quartz Hill.
I think as well, when you're in high school, there's this, hey, we're working for scholarship money. We're trying to, get that little bit of an edge, but we're also trying to get scouts to look at you, right? You're trying to get players and collegiate scene and esport directors in college to look down and say, hey, this person's got what they need. And Comey definitely sold themselves quite well. He said, I need to do the exact same thing. And I think a lot of Quartz Hill did the exact same thing as well, but some of those unsung heroes, the utility players for both sides, definitely need to get their shout out. These esport directors will be fiending over these players. Valorant's going nowhere, folks, and these players, I don't think they're going to be going away for a while either, because high school is just the beginning.
We're looking at the next generation of Valorant esports pros right in front of us, and especially with how tonight has gone, if they're this good already in Pronosis, what's going to happen when they have the time and investment of a collegiate program put into them? They're going to be gods. I won't be able to play Valorant anymore because I'll be stuck in Iron while these gods are up here and Immortal pushing us down there. But anyways, that is going to be it for us here on HSEL. Thank you all so much for watching. See all of you next broadcast.